And at the end of our discussion, I want to discuss, of our conversation, I want to discuss one more thing. It's a human factor and sometimes ruling irrationally by emotions. So that's why people more and more use artificial intelligence to find an answer to their questions. So do we? We ask GPT chat, and so here's the answer for the very interesting question. So should some we asked our GPT chats, should some countries use the army if economic sanctions against the enemy do not work? So decision to use the army, that's the answer, or military force as a response to an international conflict, particularly when economic sanctions have proven ineffective, is a complex and sensitive issue that should be carefully considered. It involves various factors, including the nature of the conflict, the potential consequences of the military action, and the desired long-term outcomes. And before resorting to military force, it is essential for countries to exhaust all diplomatic, economic, and political options available to resolve the conflict peacefully. Economic sanctions can have significant impacts on a country's economy and its people, but they may take time to yield results and can also cause unintended humanitarian consequences. So we discussed sanctions, but what about all the instruments of diplomacy? How do you think? Do we still have some options? We in Ukraine and our partners?
I hope we do. Of course, based on the international law, based on jurisdiction of the United Nations, I mean, there must be at least discussions and kind of understanding once we analyze one or another situation. But, you know, why the European Union is speaking and thinking and doing good things in terms of a rapid reaction force. So we have to have this instrument as ultimate kind of protection of our interests and interests of those third countries, because sometimes, I mean, we have to come to the help of those countries in a very short period of time. I think we have a bit different now understanding and analysis about the threat coming from countries far away to our neighborhood. I think we've been too, lenient reading the situation even in Syria. Now analyzing situation in Northern Africa. And who knows, I mean, how close it might come, I mean, next time to you, to us, even using some hybrid, means of increasing risk, like, illegal migration means and weaponizing migration and so on and so forth. So that's why, yes, we have to have a clear, standing, ready, efficient military force to protect our interests, to protect our partners. And I look at the situation in Ukraine as well. I mean, as one of the, territory, one of the situation where we can be in one way or another. What kind of the force it might be, it's the next question. But I don't close doors to any possibility for the European Union to be more involved in assisting Ukraine fighting this illegal aggression of Russian Federation against Ukraine.
The most important vision at the end of our program from GPT chat, according to what you say, we got this one. So I just quote, if economic sanctions have failed to achieve the desired objectives and the situation poses a significant threat to a country, security or the security of its allies, some countries may consider military intervention as a last resort. However, it is crucial to ensure that such action complies with international law, is proportionate to the threat and has a clear and achievable mission. In this regard, I want to again stress on the situation on Zaporizhia nuclear power plant. So what can be this main meaning for such decision?
I'm looking forward for a final report from the International Atomic Agency. It's so important. The Atomic Agency confirms those, risks which were already, declared by the Ukrainian side as the nuclear power facility is mined, full of kind of explosive material. We need, to have independent confirmation. So that's why the access of the Atomic Agency experts must be provided by the Russian side. And I believe, the International Atomic Agency has a lot of means of influence on the Russian side. Probably not all of them are used. So that's why it's a very serious situation. And, I don't think, we should, start, analyzing now technologically what kind of consequences it might have. But I'm looking forward for more, streamlined policy line from the Atomic Agency experts and the leadership. And of course, we have to assist them with everything possible, with every support, every financial possibility we provide this agency in order to achieve what this agency is for. Safety in nuclear installations. So this is the ultimate task of the International Atomic Agency, and Russia must bear responsibility. The sooner the better.
It's still unbelievable. You complete to say that's very difficult situation, very, very hard situation, and very frightening situation, because you're representative of Baltic countries and our Poland neighbors and those who live close to the border of Ukraine understand all these serious consequences that can be if something happens on this power plant. But still, the countries of Western Europe maybe not so sure about the complex that will follow the destroyment of this power plant. And more of this, for me, it's interesting why Rafael Grossi, the representative of the main agency that has the access to this power plant, still okay. Yes, there are some minings, but there's just for defense. For defense of whom? Of who? From whom? Can you explain it?
Well, I think this is mainly not about probably Atomic Agency capacity to perform this analysis or to proclaim the situation as it is. I still think that some politicians and countries are partly taken by this kind of illusion that you can talk to Russia and the Russian side will understand so-called red lines, which can't be crossed. I myself, I don't. I think Russians are ready for many red lines might be crossed if they want, okay? But, it depends. What is your reaction? And when this reaction starts? When we built up a new defense wall, a new kind of position and asking for those sanctions or any actions to be taken from our side. If we will follow and we will be, doomed and deceived by, so to say, peaceful Russian attitude or cooperative attitude, of course, we will fail. So let's forget about naivety and let's use all existing, channels of pressure, access to the Zaporizhia nuclear power station as soon as possible. So many lives maybe depend on the situation. So that's why I don't see any chance for any games continued with Russia.